This is big breaking emergency news. DoD companies and contractors are now coming under attack right now, and critical operations for the military and for the economy have been shut down. Manufacturing has been shut down. They cannot make these critical parts, and this is a major security alert. All right, so let's get into the details here really quick. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated on all this big news. All right, so this is what's currently happening. Manufacturing for the Department of Defense and their critical components that they need for their weapon systems has been shut down. All right, their mission critical systems need these parts, and they have come under a major attack. Right, so this is big, and we're gonna see more disruptions like this right now. Right, they've shut down factories and shut down production right now for these parts. Okay, and these parts, it says they are mission critical uses, usually in things that move fast like cars, planes, missiles, or operate in nasty remote places like space, where NASA will use its chips and its next gen high performance space flight computer. All right, so this company even makes chips for NASA. Right, they are used in missiles, they are used in weapon systems all across the board. All right, so this was a major cyber attack on a company called Microchip. Right, that's the company's name. So this is the headline here, and they are a contractor and a major producer for the Department of Defense and our U.S. military. All right, this is the headline. It says chipmaker Microchip reveals cyber attack whacked and shut down manufacturing capacity. All right, defense contractor gets hacked. So it says U.S. semiconductor manufacturing firm Microchip Technology has revealed a, quote, unauthorized party disrupted the company's use of certain servers in some business operations. It says, quote, as a result of the incident, certain of the company's manufacturing facilities are operating at less than normal levels, and the company's ability to fulfill orders is currently impacted. The filing states that was filed on August 17th. All right, it says along with a promise that it's working to fix things ASAP. It says there's no word on the cause of the incident, the extent of the disruption at the chipmaker, or whether ransomware was involved. The mention of isolating affected systems suggests that the unauthorized party's activities had the potential to spread into other parts of the outfit's IT estate. All right, that's a good point, is that they're taking these offline for a reason. All right, they're shutting it down. They're worried this is going to spread and 100% shut down their manufacturing capabilities. All right, and something to think about as well, if you guys caught my live stream yesterday, something we were talking about on there is that Taiwan. The reason why you always hear everyone talking about Taiwan and China is because Taiwan is where a lot of these chips are produced. Okay, this is a major manufacturing hub for these semiconductors and these chips that are in everything now. They're already in everything. They're already in your card. Your debit card has a chip in it. You've seen that little chip on it, that little square. Right, it has a chip in it now, and that is even produced by these companies. Right, everything has a chip and it has semiconductors in it now, and that's why Taiwan is critical, because that's where half of the world's semiconductor manufacturing comes from, is just this little island off the coast of China. That's why it's such a prize and it's so valuable, and why China and the US are willing to go to war over it. All right, it's part of the reason. And right when all this is happening, okay, we have this conflict happening. We're just talking about this. Biden just put his nuclear forces, our U.S. nuclear forces, on high alert a couple months ago and altered nuclear documents, deterrence documents, to get ready for a coordinated attack from China, Russia, and North Korea. All right, so think of it in that context. And this could be why we're seeing these cyber attacks on our own chip manufacturing right now, shutting down production, right? It says here, news of any chip maker's manufacturing capacity diminishing is seldom welcome. This incident at Microchip is essentially concerning, given that in January 2024, the Biden administration awarded the firm $162 million to expand the fabs in which it makes its flagship microcontrollers, right? So they just got a major grant from the Biden administration 7-8 months ago for $162 million, and now they come under this attack. You can't make this up, right? It seems like they're being targeted because the U.S. is trying to revamp our semiconductor and our microprocessor capacity, all right? We're trying to ramp these things up so we are competitive on the global stage in this area. And Biden actually signed an executive order. It's like going on 2 years ago now, a year and a half now. He signed an executive order to force all of the overseas, like all the American workers that were in China that were working on semiconductors and these specific factories and industries, most of them industries like this, they had to decide, they made them choose between denouncing their citizenship or coming back to the US. They had to denounce their citizenship to stay in China and keep working there, or they can come back to the US and they have to work in the manufacturing here, right? Semiconductor manufacturing. This happened just a year and a half ago, right? So that's why we keep seeing these attacks go back and forth, right? And about a year ago too, we saw a similar event on, I believe the company's name was Applied Technology, okay? It's also a major semiconductor producer and manufacturer located inside the US domestically, and they had a major cyber attack as well about a year ago, and it shut down their manufacturing. This actually went on for months, and they were saying that it was going to essentially make them lose a whole quarter of their income for that year, right? They were essentially wiped out for a whole quarter, and they were saying it was like $250 million, if I remember off the top of my head, right? This was a year ago. I made a video on it, right? So these attacks keep happening, right? It's not a coincidence. These manufacturers are being targeted for a reason, and the U.S. just gave this company a $162 million grant just a few months ago. And says the administration billed the funding as a boost for U.S.'s automotive, defense, and aerospace industries, reflecting Microchip's importance as a supplier to the military. Right? So this is one of the main military contractors for the U.S. and producing microchips, and this is a big deal that they've been shut down, right? And they specifically gave them this money for these microcontrollers to be used in automotive, defense, and aerospace industries. So it's also a targeting of our military as well. It's shutting down and slowing down these industries. Think about it. We have multiple active war fronts right now between NATO, Ukraine, and Russia, and also the US, Israel, and Iran. Okay, we have multiple different war fronts, and bubbling in the background, China, Taiwan, and the US. All these are a constant drain on our military supplies. Okay, we always need new supplies. We're always manufacturing, all right? And some of the production facilities have actually massively ramped up production. Okay, I think it's one of these facilities, I think it's in Pennsylvania, is now producing 30,000 munitions per month. Okay, heavy artillery munitions. And just a few years ago, that was only a couple thousand per month. So some areas have been ramping up, and like this, they're awarding money for this. They've been ramping these things up. And there's always a major drain on our stockpiles for our military. So we're always having to supply more, right? Which is great for the military defense contractors, right? The defense industry here, right? They're making a ton of money. And those supply chains are being shut down, though. That's my point. So they're being drained consistently, and right now we're not replacing the things as well, right? These chips are literally in every little thing that you can imagine. And it goes on to say here, yeah, these microchips, the company, their products are designed for mission critical uses, right? For fast cars, planes, missiles, and even for NASA, right? And it says the biz also offers Foundry Services. And if this incident has disrupted that process, it will mean pain in the silicon supply as well, right? That's what they're warning of, because this company does smelting and refining, okay, and melting of metals, right? They do smelting. They are also the base for a lot of the other companies as well too, right? So that's why this is a major problem. They produce a lot of the base components themselves on hand, right? They're not having like parts shipped in from China, pieces of metal. They're producing their own metal and their own parts right on hand domestically, right? In the US, they're doing this. They have smelting services, taking raw material and turning it into metals that they use for their microprocessors, right? And their chips and their semiconductors. So if that process has been shut down as well and has been disrupted, that could cause many other businesses as well that are putting together components, right? They're not making these base components. That's a whole nother business to be doing something like this. So if that's shut down as well, we could see rippling effects throughout the entire industry, right? And this could end up being a national security risk as well, depending on how long these disruptions go on for, right? And they have said that they have people on the scene, right? They have a giant team. They're trying to get this figured out and trying to get their systems back online, because this is critical infrastructure. Right? This isn't typical critical infrastructure that we talk about or that we think about, like electricity, water, gas, food, right? Roads. It's not the typical critical infrastructure you think about, but manufacturing is critical, and especially these chips for our military, right? This is one of the main military contractors for the DoD. So thank you guys. Please hit it up for me down there to help get this warning out. I appreciate that. I hope you have big blessings for your life, for your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.